Lie spotters are armed with scientific knowledge. What has really just been a lot of this may be the most the FDA makes a
With Broken Truth, and we still have some booty dance music on. Okay.
Oh boy.
I feel like I need to order a drink now after listening to that music. Hey guys, this is John Davidson with Broken Truth, and it's been a while. But today we got my good friend Katie Pazitney.
Hmm?
Close enough.
Yeah.
She's our buddy from Canada, who's got the ostrich farm that's under attack from the Canadian government. Was it the CFIA?
Yeah. Canadian Food Inspection Agency.
Wow. So Katie reached out to me and she was like, "Can I come on, dig me out of retirement a little bit, and do one more show for old time's sake?" And I was like, "Of course. Let's
Yeah.
find out what's going on." So the quick summary is, your birds got alleged bird flu. You can't verify it independently because they don't want that for some reason.
I
And
love that.
then yeah, and then the Canadian government came in and basically just said, "Hey, we're going to kill your entire ostrich farm, even though they all are healthy and recovered."
That's right. It's pretty much the gist of it, isn't it?
Yep, and the douche scientists
Wow.
at CFI. Sorry, it's Friday night.
Wow.
All it's
Wow.
all
Yeah.
it's all out the window. But
I'd love a Friday night show. If we could do this is fantastic.
yeah, so they showed up and they didn't care about any of your arguments. They didn't care about your science. They didn't care that it wasn't a farm for meat. It was a research farm, but they gave zero F's. So why don't you give us the update? I mean, you've been fighting this, going to court. The court stopped it. It's crazy. What's the latest?
Yes, we are. Oh my gosh, I have all these books and papers. So we're 115 days, no symptomatic deaths. Our ostriches are, the reality is they're dancing and they're happy and they're healthy and they're doing so well. They have their herd immunity. 129 days we've been under quarantine. It's been a long journey. We have, we continue to fight that our farm is a research center. We are not used for food consumption. So we are a farm that is based on research to try to help humanity. We are a research asset, that could help Canada better understand and respond to avian flu, but instead we're trying to be eradicated. So we've actually got some of the best support from the USA. We have Bobby Kennedy speaking on this with John Katsmedidis.
Really?
Yeah, it's been great. He said we should be saved as a research facility. I mean, common sense says,
That's amazing.
yeah, it is great. He's still, I was in legislature. We made it to the Victoria legislature yesterday. That was through an MLA out of Peace River North, Canada. And his name is Jordan Keeley. And he gave us the opportunity because he used his questions in question period to raise the concerns over our farm, but not our farm only, that this is a broader and bigger issue. Where our agricultural industry is under attack right now, and the very organizations that our taxpayer dollars pay here in Canada, they are targeting our small farms. So anyways, we in the legislature, we had opportunity to ask some questions, and we actually received a meeting with the agricultural minister right after. This was all a very brand new experience for myself. Wow. And Lana Poppin, and she did listen to us, asked a lot of questions. There was Samuel Godfrey and our MLA for the region, Steve Morissette. They asked some really good questions, wanted to know more about the research. We explained some of the flaws in the policy, because she defended it with that they have good testing, which we know that they have the controversial testing of the PCR tests. So when she heard about that, but also just heard about they don't need testing. They can come onto our farms with just a basic suspicion and kill all of our animals. They have that much of power. So that was raised some really good concerns. Then we talked about how, the very people who are a backbone of Canada, and I mean the US as well, they are our nutritional food source. Our hardworking farmers in the agricultural sector that have given up their life to raise these animals, be the expert with their animals, and be a contributing piece to our food security. So I don't know why we're targeting these farmers when we should be offering them the most help. That was raised. I raised the concern as well. What happens with these aging farmers that are being culled, and then they get repopulated, and maybe they cull one more time? We're seeing an influx in agricultural, the farmers that are giving up. And I don't want to make them feel weak, but they should feel so strong. They made it this far, but they're being attacked by our agency. So I said, so what's going to happen with them? And it sounds a lot similar, just like the COVID-19 scenario, where our trucker convoy and these heroes that we once had, and our healthcare workers and our truck drivers, they were heroes. And then very quickly they became a target for, and then we had a pandemic. So raised the concerns over that. And I said, well, now what's going to happen? Will our agricultural leaders in the industry, which is our farmers, are they going to become a burden on society? Because now they're going to be on welfare, and now they're going to need help. Because what are they going to do with their whole life has been becoming experts in their animals. I believe it was received really well. I have hope. Our farm has hope. Our family has hope. The ostriches have hope. I have hope for other farmers that, maybe that can be received well. Short after that, we got an email saying that by beginning early next week, we will have a decision from our judge, since we did the judicial review April 15th and 16th. We've been waiting, I think, I don't know what that is now, 24 days for a verdict. So then raises another concern. If we have one of the most contagious or worst forms of H5N1 in Canada, why would they be leaving it this long? So I have faith also that the judge sees that. I mean, I know the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is not maybe handling this as properly as they should, but I still want to have faith our judicial system.
Right. I've watched the videos that you guys put on your Facebook feed of the CFIA guys and just standing there in their masks.
Yeah.
There's zero interaction. It is they're here to do a thing.
Yeah.
And they don't. If these are the people that are making the decisions, or maybe those are the boots on the ground, but does anyone that you interact with at CFIA, aside from the deceptive tactics where they make you think one thing and then actually are just baiting you into a trap, is anyone at CFIA even remotely approachable and actually rational about this?
No, and this is another problem, right? So these very organizations that are funded by our taxpayer dollars that should be coming to the experts, which is our farmers, especially even across the states, our experts are the farmers. You go to the experts for the opinions on how do we handle these issues. You don't walk into their farm and take everything that they have and kill everything that they have.
Right.
No, they're not. I raised that topic too, and it's been a big topic around the farm, that there's no empathy. At not one time on their multiple visits have we heard, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that we have to do this. We are looking out for Canadians. We're trying to stabilize this virus. We empathize with you. We have sympathy for this. No, they come out with tactics like to my mom. The one lady, Courtney Fotheringham, says, and the chicken people are sad too, Karen. Like it's the grossness in that. We've had multiple people watch those videos and cry about how we've been handled. We found out some new information as well last week that was quite alarming. And there's a landfill about 75 kilometers away named Udachina landfill. And they received the contract for the burial site of all of our ostrich carcasses. So the arrogance in that, well, there's still not a verdict out. The arrogance of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency in their display of that, already having a contract, already having somewhere dug. Either we don't know something that they know, or they're just being that arrogant, that they're using their administration, which we're paying for. They're using our taxpayer dollars to go and fund this burial site that might or might not be used. And all before we had a verdict.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. All of it, everybody keeps saying, none of this makes sense. And I think that's what's taken us this far. Look at these big, beautiful, majestic, prehistoric animals that have nothing but love and life to offer. They offer science.
Trevor has been in the quarantine. Ever since quarantine started, Trevor was one of our older birds. Trevor's in here. Hey, Trev. Say hi, Trev. Because, see Trevor's foot, when he was a chick, he hurt his foot. And his toe went sideways. He broke it. And that's how he showed up at our farm at a year old, was with his toe broke. But Trevor's a lovely bird. So we kind of kept Trevor because he breeds. He's happy. He's a gentle soul.
Yeah, I love these videos. This is after he was supposedly
so sick,
deathly sick. Yeah.
I'd love to remind your audience that when this all began, that more than half of our farm was not symptomatic. We had no deaths or mortalities on more than half of our farm. It was an isolated issue. We had the birds that were on our ostriches that were on our farm after 2020 were the ones that presented symptoms. We found this out later on to do within the legal issues and some of our own research that this makes sense because in 2020, when we had these exact same symptoms.
And Katie, did I get your last name correct?
You did.
Sorry.
Oh,
just planning our last interview.
We asked, so in 2020, and our vet did the gold standard tissue sample test, came back high Pseudomonas bacteria, which we learned now. At that time, we lost 10 birds and we were a herd of 300. And then we gained our herd immunity, but it came back Pseudomonas bacteria. When they did these tests, they only ran the PCR tests. They would not run any other tests. They would not test our healthy animals. They would not test our symptomatic animals. They were not running a control group study. They did not test our water. They did not test our soil. and they just signed us off for the cull order. But the symptoms were same both times. But we found out that Pseudomonas bacteria is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of H5N1. So it's a respiratory reaction to it. We ran some of our older egg yolk that we have on the farm from way prior to this, which we were allowed to do that. And we did it. And it all came back positive for high antibodies with H5N1. So more than half our farm has already been pre-exposed in 2020 to the genome sequence of H5N1. And that would make sense. So our ostriches that have been on the farm past 2020 are the ones that were gaining their herd immunity. And we have a living laboratory now here, and a lot of our commercial poultry facilities don't get this opportunity because all their animals are there overnight. There's 20 to 30,000 that are dead, but then the ones that are going to survive, they're all killed anyway. So we've never really seen the situation play out, and that's a really big deal here. We have the opportunity to see what would happen if you allow something to burn out, play it out. And here we have more than half of our farm still alive with beautiful, robust antibodies that pose way more health benefit alive than they do dead. Because with our farmers, they're okay with repopulating farms very quickly, cleaning up. Those birds are still exposed to migratory animals, which are spreading the H5N1. But these animals now that they're repopulating with have really weakened immune systems, because they're naive, weak, young immune systems that still need time to develop. And that's where we have problems with mutating viruses and the virus really taking advantage of the host. So we don't kill the survivors. We protect the survivors. We keep them on our farms. Those are the ones we should be breeding. We should be keeping their eggs. We should be keeping their chicks. They're the golden animals, but we're killing them. And we're going to lose genetic diversity all across the world.
None of this makes any sense. I mean, if you approach things from a logical, scientific, and rational position, none of it makes sense.
No.
But unfortunately, you give people power, and it's the assistant manager of Walmart syndrome, right? It goes to their head, and suddenly they're ruling from the roost in horrible ways. And look, if they've recovered, I mean, this is supposed to be 85-90% death rate for most animals that get H5N1, right?
Remember too that they say, so in their quarantine, in our procedures here in Canada with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, we're being threatened 6 months in jail, a $250,000 fine if we test or treat our animals. So could you imagine how all the farms would look if all the farmers who are the experts in their animals, and their animals are sick, and then they don't test them, treat them, sorry. They know how to treat them. They might give them an antibiotic. They might give them an anti-inflammatory. They would monitor them. They're going to isolate them away from the healthy. This is our protocol. You don't want all your healthy animals sick. This is your life's work. And then imagine how that looks on the farms when they're told you cannot treat these animals. I bet you it would look a lot different if all these farmers were allowed to treat their animals without fear of jail time, rather than a lethargic, dying breed. Pictures of cows or whatever it would be that are looking their worst without treatment.
Well, I mean, arguably, this is what some say happened in COVID, right? The hospitals didn't treat people properly. They didn't give them early treatments, or they denied them early treatments, or they villainized. It made a whole movie about hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah.
Simplest, safest drug. They didn't ban tonic and gin, did they?
No, they sure didn't.
But they did ban hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, and churches.
Definitely can't go to church.
You definitely can't go to church, but you can go and have a drink. Yeah.
Yeah, the strip clubs in the liquor stores are all good. So it's. I hope that you guys make it through. I feel like you're going to make it through.
You know what? I have faith. I have undying faith that we look at those animals and we tell them almost every day, you're not going anywhere. We're just not going to let it happen. So, but after that, if we get whatever the verdict is at the early next week, If it's good for us, then if we have some stability on the farm, that's great, because all that does is give us more time to focus on all the other farms out there and
Yeah.
educate them about the policy, that
Yeah.
they're coming for them. We're going to educate them on the, you know, our situation, our experience, and how far we've made it with this, and that there is an option. There was an option, or there is an option here, and we have it. We have it not just for humans, but we have it for all of their animals as well.
I was just thinking that since our first interview, I don't know, how long ago was that? It was 6 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah.
March 10th.
Oh,
2
wow.
months. Wow.
Yeah.
Look how far you've come. Look at you. You're all PR'd up now.
I
And
know.
it's Friday night.
I know. Look at me.
I'm covered in paint. I don't know what you're doing, but I thought you were the one on the farm. But yeah, you are
on the farm. Yeah.
You're becoming a force for good. You may end up finding that you are very good at this, and you can do this for other farmers, like you just said. You know, because this is
we're going to make a big difference, and it's not going to be just in Canada. We have amazing contacts with John Katzmediadis, with Mindy Patterson out of Oklahoma, the Cavalry Group. We have Trent Luce from around the pond. We have just great contacts, and we want to protect all farmers. Education and awareness. And we're looking at starting a Canadian Farmers Association for a landing pad to protect other farmers and give them a security net, because people are scared. They don't want to reach out to the government. Now they don't, you know, people are saying, what do we do if we call this hotline? We lose all our animals. But if we don't call the hotline, we risk, you know, we can monitor and take care of this ourselves. But where we run into a problem is these organizations do have a key holding place if they're ran properly. So if there is something that we should all be concerned about, or a developing new disease or virus, then we should feel safe to go to these places, and they're going to work with our experts, our farmers, not against us, and just kill everything. Yeah. So
I think that's a great idea. I mean, you know, you talk about how God works, and he pushes you in one direction, and then serendipity sort of opens this opportunity for you to become this new thing.
This new thing.
So, you got to have a PR company, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. or maybe you do a nonprofit. I don't know how that works in Canada.
I don't know either, but I'll come visit you. We'll hash it out. No, the science is clear across the globe that stamping out isn't working. And I just want the audience to know that animals, we're by wiping out natural immunity. It's a really big deal. Animals are, they are the most powerful, their natural immunity is the most powerful defense mechanism that has allowed species, including humans, to survive for millions of years. And now it just doesn't exist. So, you know, when COVID happened, there was community immunity. And there was all these things, right? And now there's no herd immunity. Now there's no natural immunity. And just remember too, that as long as there's migratory birds, nowhere in the world will be avian influenza free. So let's start to learn how to live with it.
Yeah. The whole science academic research community right now is in shambles.
Yeah. And
federal governments all across the planet have exposed themselves as being horribly corrupt, unfortunately very incompetent in some instances, and the good people, who I still kind of hope are the majority, are run out.
Yeah.
So that the idiots can run the roost.
Well, I don't know how many people believe in this whole 15-minute city thing and stuff, but you can only start to see the higher where we're going with this. And it's like they're corralling us in smaller and smaller and smaller. Soon there's going to be no animals and animals outside because they're exposed to migratory birds. They have to be in barns. Then we get pushed into our cities. Then we rely solely on vaccinations because we're not eating antibody-filled meat and no nutritional sources anymore. Then we're going to be, and where does it stop? And we've taken the stance at Universal Ostrich Farm that it stops here. So.
And you guys have well water and all that stuff, right?
Well, yeah, we
Isn't that great?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. But they would say, don't drink the well water, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. That'll be the next thing.
Yeah.
We're looking at moving to a farm kind of environment, and I'm so excited about well water. Wow. How do you get the fluoride?
You don't, and that's why we moved.
Exactly. Yeah. No, this is good, and I think that you are doing the best with what you've got to offer.
Thank you.
And this terrible situation is, I don't know. I think it's going to get better. I mean, a lot of people are praying for you, and the birds, and Trevor.
I know, and all the audience can continue to go to saveourostriches.com for updates. You can follow Katie Pisitny on Facebook. We're doing lives. We have a gentleman here, Jim Kerr. He's the bubble bus out of the trucker convoy. There's a lot of media coverage, and we are just trying to keep as live as possible, we're staying alive, but still doing lives, and showing people the beauty in these animals and what we need to protect going forward, as well as updates. So we're just, as soon as we have that verdict, everybody will know.
Excellent. Well, we will be waiting with bated breath. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just, we love you. Thank you for the time.
You too,
tonight.
buddy.
I know I got a new buddy. I love it. It's good. We can cause trouble together. I think we could some good change.
I have so many fights going on right now. It's amazing. It's the most fun, although it's not very profitable, but we're going to work on that
after this
next.
one, I'm definitely, it doesn't need to be profitable, but it sure can be, taking these most challenging times and creating the biggest opportunity. So once this is done, you just let me know what you want me to get behind you on, and let's go.
Yeah, I got to make a list.
I think that's the world right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Katie. And we will be keeping an eye on what's going on.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good night.
Everybody. Good night. Happy Friday.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The FDA makes a decision which is sometimes totally independent of any finding by the advisory committee.
The agencies turned a blind eye toward simple, cheap, possibly effective treatments that, by the way, created no harm.
They're really criticizing science because I represent science.
Interference in research happened.
Trying to manage the research community, many people have concluded is really like herding cats, and it is like herding cats, but guess what? I've got a big bag of cat food. It's called the NIH budget.
Was it because the president was encouraged by the use of this drug that you became discouraged by it?
And nothing to do with politics, sir.
They're not doing it because they say they don't want to do it. They're Republicans. They don't like to be told what to do. Right. And we got to break that, unpack that.
You are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individuals. I totally resent that. And if anybody is lying here, Senator, it is you.
If 2 years from now we have the studies and we say, hey, that stuff really would have worked, and the government stopped that from being used, if I was a family of a person that was stopped from getting chloroquine, I'd be pretty mad.